Welcome back. Devo does stuff. Well, here's my latest project. Whoa. Come loose on me. Didn't realize that. .42-inch Bush Hog. Tires are both flat. Been sitting in a barn for about 5 years. I don't think the tires are salvageable, boys. Crack, but I'm gonna try to put air in them anyway, just to see. It has a starter, but it's supposed to have a wire that runs up to your four-wheeler, and you plug it in and it jumps off of your four-wheeler battery. But it's no go. And it's supposed to also have a throttle that attaches to your back rack on your four-wheeler with a key, and you can just start it from there and control the throttle from there. But this has been screwed to here, so you can't do it from the four-wheeler. Plus, this is not working anyway. So it's a pull start, but the cord needs replaced. We'll try to air them tires up. I think I'll try to air the tires up first, because it took some doing to get this up with flat tires. And I had some help loading it, but from here on out it's going to be just me and my wife. And I got what was called a new brake, but it's obviously not. That thing's beat all up. But I think the first step is going to try to see if these tires will take air, and then I can at least wheel it around a little bit. But this is my newest project and I really need this to get started up on my property, so I'll be back. All right, here's our progress so far. Got the gas tank off and cleaned out. I think I'm gonna scrub that down with a brush and some soap. And then, let's see, I got the recoil off. I just need to find some cord for it. And then, the bolts that hold the recoil on also hold this shroud on. And almost didn't take it off, but I'm sure am glad I did, because that's a real mouse house right there. That stuff gets down in there and blocks those fins. Those fins are what cools your engine. They get blocked up and the air can't get through them. This fan draws the air up through those fins and keeps your engine cool. And mouse urine is very corrosive. All that corrosion you're seeing right there, that's all from mouse urine. I don't know what that is. It looks like might be mud or mud daubers, old mud daubers nest. Oh wow. It's old mud dauber's nest. Probably back before the mouse built his nest. All right. I think she's ready to go back together. I took the bowl off, cleaned it real good, checked my needle and everything up in there, and it looked like everything was working fine. I'm just want to see if it's going to run. If it doesn't, then I'll take that carb completely off and clean it. I put some electrical tape on where that coating was cracked on that. Dug around in my truck and I found that little ratchet thing there, and that's what I used to replace my cord. I just didn't want to stop what I was doing and run to the hardware store, and that's easy enough fix if it breaks. But it's a ratchet cord, so I think it should be stronger. Whoever must have replaced this with looks like 550 cord. It's not like military 550 cord. It's like Walmart 550 cord. And it was still holding on, but it wears through that outer jacket when it rubs. When it rubs in this. I got my gas tank cleaned out over there. And my air filter cover. That gas tank, when I took it off, it's got a filter in the end of the line. It goes up in the nozzle on the bottom of the fuel tank. I sprayed that with carb cleaner and cleaned it up. Hopefully it'll go back on there good. I did get this thing to fire up yesterday, but since my throttle wasn't working, it shut back off before I could get to this to rev it up. So I was thinking about it last night, and I'm just getting over my shoulder surgery, and that thing was hard to pull. I mean, it was really hard to pull. Well, I got to thinking about it, and it was spinning the blade. And that's a big old heavy duty blade. It was spinning the blade when I was pulling it. And I thought, you know, that shouldn't be spinning that blade. That clutch should disengage the blade until you rev the engine up. So I stood it up a while ago. I had to take the gas tank back off. And I should have took my oil or air filter off because I bled a bunch of oil through it. Luckily, it all landed right here on this floor mat that happened to be laid on my trailer. So it's a lot easier than it could have been. But I was thinking that clutch was on the spindle end, but it's not. It's on the engine side of the belt. And that's it right there. So while I still had it up and had access to it, I just got my big crescent wrench and tapped on it and rolled it with the blade, tapped on it, and I could actually hear the difference in the sound when it freed up. It was solid, and then it started hearing like almost like a bell sound. But it finally freed up. I don't know if I can reach the blade. See, it's still spinning that, but it's not spinning this. I'm too close there. It's not spinning my engine. So now I should be able to put my gas tank back on, and I got my air filter wrapped in some towels, trying to soak all the excess oil out of it. I think it'll be all right. New rope and a bigger handle. This handle's broke where somebody put a bolt down in there to hold their rope. I put it back the same way, but it's broke. So I got one with a bigger handle, and I looked up this part that runs from here and puts all your controls onto your back rack on your four-wheeler, and that part right there is $900. And I looked up a new clutch this morning too, thinking if I couldn't get that freed up, I might have to get a new clutch. It was $600. So I'm not paying that kind of money. I'll figure out something. But I'm gonna get it all put back together again now, and we'll see what happens. All right, we're a couple of days later. I've had this thing running, it's running good, but the clutch is not disengaging. I got it loose the first time by tapping on it, but it's been grabbing ever since. So what I did is this is the adjustment bolt for to tighten the belt. I took it loose. I took these four, two on each side, bolts out here on the side that hold the engine mount on, and then I slid the whole thing back. So now I should, and you can see the belt's loose, I should be able to turn it up, and there should be a bolt on the bottom of this clutch holding it on. And I'm trying to avoid having to take that gas tank back off and draining the oil out. So let me try. I think I'm going to slide it back this way and then turn it up from the other end. Now let's see if this will. Yeah, that came off real easy. Now is this. There's a set screw right up in here that's going to have to come off. It looks like I'm going to have to use a single Allen wrench. I don't think a socket will fit up in there. I took this bolt here out. There's two set screws on the top, And I'm getting ready to pull this off when I realize there's no reason to take that off. That's working just fine. It's not spinning the motor. So I'll put my set screws back in, get this put back together. All right, got this thing hooked up now. Put this pin on my four-wheeler. I made a little rubber washer because it calls for a rubber washer between the four-wheeler and the Bush Hog. So I made one out of a piece of rubber. I fixed this throttle and stuck it back on here because I want to make sure the one I bought is long enough to reach up to here, and it looks like it's no problem. It actually looks like this one here would probably reach up to there. But I took my plastic welder and stuck that back in there. That was pulling out, is why this wasn't working. But I got it stuck back in there now. When you go to wide open, and then it activates the choke down here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my jump pack and see if I can jump this thing with my jump pack. It sure would save a lot of wear and tear on my shoulders. All right, I made it about 40 yards. This thing died on me. So I did what I should have done to start with. I tore the carburetor off of it. I found the main jet had a slight plug in it, and I think what was really the problem was this vent hose right here was completely clogged. I took a drill bit and ran down in there. It was some kind of insect had been in there. I think that goes right on there. Just finished mowing with the Bush Hog GT 42. It did really good. I thought what I would do would be run over this with it up high and then maybe go back, lower it, and do it again. That way I could see like these stumps here. But I think it's good. I think that's as good as I need it. It worked out really good. Worked out real good. Considering when we first came up here, we had to hit the woods down here and come through the woods to get up to where I am right now. This was just, it was so thick you couldn't even walk through it. So, I'm really impressed with the Bush Hog. Hands on getting this back functional where I can hook it to the back rack on my four-wheeler and start it, control it, and have a kill switch on it, which I do not have right now. I just shut the gas off and let it run till it runs out of gas. That's how I stop it. I do have a kill switch I ordered from a company, and I got ripped off, but I do have a kill switch, so I will do that at a later date. But I came up here, well, you could see on the video, on the way back, I just took a little shortcut right through here and ran right over that tree. Luckily, it didn't mess it up any. I had a couple of pretty good sized limbs up here that I ran over, that I had cut out of this tree, and they were just laying here. I just wanted to see what it would do, and you can see it chopped them right up. No problem at all. Like I ran over this tree. The hardest thing about it is getting turned around. You see where I made a swoop here trying to turn around. This is as far as I wanted to go anyway. I need to, from here, I need to fly my drone and kind of figure out the lay of the land and figure out which way. I know that old house is right in that direction. Was in here with her weed eater a couple days ago, and she was hacking at this. I need to drop something down in there and see how deep that well is. And I need to cover it up. Of course, it's been uncovered for years and years, but I'm going to cover it up. And I think I might get one of those hand pumps to put on it and pump it up. And then I got that other well on the other side of that house that I'm going to do the same thing to. That way my wife can have water for her garden up here. And she has a garden. I'm probably going to end up cutting that tree right there out. But I really wasn't planning on coming up this far, but it didn't take long. It didn't take near as long as I thought it would. I made 3 passes on this road, which there were some spots where it was only wide enough for 2 passes. But right here's a good place to turn around. But anyway, I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish this video on the GT42. I really don't know how old it is, but I will tell you this, I like it. I like it a lot. It saved me from having to buy a tractor and a bush hog. So I'm pretty happy with it. And I think I can come up here, I don't know, once a month maybe, and do this and be just fine. And I'll expand. I want to put a trail up this point here up, because it opens up in some big woods up in here. And I want to put a trail up through there. But I'm just getting started. But that's going to wrap it up for the GT42 Bush Hog with the Honda 11 horsepower. Thanks for watching. Devo does stuff.